Welcome back to Cephas Unscripted. As you know, it's Wednesday, which means we have to do a weekend preview. And once again, we are back with the Six Nations. What is it? Round 4 now. Absolutely. Boys, before we get into the fixtures, your opinions, what has the Six Nations been like for you guys if you take into consideration the hype before the tournament started?
Well,
Yeah.
so obviously, I think me and Brett will have a
Everyone's
similar
gonna
answer.
start.
But look, I think it's been quite predictable. Obviously because Ireland are head and shoulders above all of these sides, and it's not a shame to say that. I mean, Ireland are just levels above, and obviously we know they take on England this weekend, which could be a bogey team for them if because I see Alex Mitchell is back and he wasn't starting against Scotland because he was injured, so that could benefit England as well. But yeah, like I said, just predictable. And I think
Marcus Smith
Ireland
also
are
back in
just.
the training camp, if I'm not
Mm,
mistaken, right?
yeah, so but at the end of the day, Ireland are head and shoulders above these teams, and I think there's a lot of soul searching that needs to be done, especially in that France side. That French side really needs to find something. Italy obviously fighting for their lives, doing well, getting a draw against France. Arguably should have been a win. But yeah, I mean, there's been close to upsets, but just like we said, quite predictable.
Brett, do you share a similar testament to that?
I do. But as we said before the Six Nations started, there was only one game that I was looking forward to, and that was that France Italy game. And it lived up to my expectations, except for that last kick. But it lived up to my expectations in the hopes that Italy could get one over France, and everything else has been super predictable. Like it's not even a thing anymore. It's like now if we go on any prediction websites or whatever, you just say this team's going to win and you are guaranteed to get it right. So it's overhyped.
Yeah, just before we started the episode, I actually said we have to start with England and France. But Brett, you brought up a great point. And before we get to, I want to speak about Italy first, right? And before we get to that, just quickly, would you agree that when I make the statement that Wales have been the second most impressive team in the tournament this far, even though they haven't got a victory, I think they've played decent rugby. They've always, like in terms of what our expectations were of them, even though they didn't get a victory, you could arguably say they deserved to win some of those games that they were playing.
If you look at their results, they've been written off for the last 2 years, actually, if you will. So that people are always saying that they're going to get the wooden spoon in this year's Six Nations, and well, even if they do, they've still batted above their average. So I think it's valid what you just said.
Yeah, because if we look at where Wales were before the World Cup, they were absolutely nowhere, and we all thought, Wales may get, they may get grouped, and we thought, these guys are not looking too great. And then come the World Cup, I saw a better Wales, and then even now, I think we've seen an even more impressive Wales. So they're taking strides towards where they want to be, which is great. And obviously, we don't want to see a side like Wales who has so much history be at the bottom. Obviously, we know Wales are a tough side. We know they're probably one of the most physical out of the Northern Hemisphere sides. So I'm impressed by Wales, and I can actually back the fact that they could arguably be the second best side, not results wise, but looking better than what they should wise. So I
Yeah,
can back that.
the big thing for me is like before the Six Nations started, right? We made a combined 15 of all the teams, and we said we can't even think of a Welsh player to put in except for injured Jack Morgan, right? And I think there's so many boys that have really put up their hands. I don't think they necessarily make the team, but like the likes of a Tommy Raffel, Aaron Wainwright, even that Alex Mann, Rio Dyer on the wing. He's been an absolute workhorse. So really a couple of guys that have really stepped up their performances and showcased some fighting spirit all the way. But anyway, let's get into the interesting bit. As Brett said, he was looking forward to that game between Italy and France, and it didn't. It lived up to expectations, right? Italy should have got the victory there. Do you think that goes as fuel for Italy going into the Scottish game, where they can actually say, "Listen, we believe in ourselves," even though it was a knackered and bummed, and not at all the same French team. Do you think they take some confidence from that, pushing into the Scottish game, especially they're playing home as well? Do you think there could be an upset on the cards?
If I can go, I'm going to say that this after the last round, we're going back to predictable Six Nations. I think all the results that we're all gonna call the same winner, and I guarantee it's going to be the same winner. There's no chance Italy's beating Scotland. So yeah, that's just my thought on that game.
Yeah, look, I think Italy will take confidence from the game. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, they'll be very disappointed that they drew and not won. But I think they'll take confidence and they'll show a bit of passion in the first 20, 30 minutes. But ultimately, Scotland, they are better and they are going to be better on the day, I'm sure. And I think Scotland will be comfortable in this game. I do see it maybe being close for maybe 20 minutes, but then I can see Scotland really taking control of the game and just doing what we all expect them to do, and that's just win this game, not by a mile, but they'll win it comfortably. I mean, I can see a 15-point, 18-point victory for Scotland.
Yeah, there's a bunch of times that we see a team kind of getting a solid performance, like for instance Italy against France, and then we think, okay, the next week they're going to kick on because they take confidence from it, and then they just get like completely humbled against the next opponent that they're playing. It's not often that the teams can put up two brilliant performances in a row. But yeah, I fully agree. I think Scotland takes this one as well. Before the Six Nations started, I thought the one game that stands out for me, except for the Ireland-France game, was the game between Ireland and Scotland. Does Scotland show up to kind of put that revenge story in motion of the World Cup, where people thought, listen, Scotland could cause an upset victory here, make the pool interesting, and then after all, they got hammered. Now that could be a decider, right? They could put up a solid performance against Ireland. I don't see them beating Ireland at all, but that's probably the most interesting game left of the lot. So we're all going Scotland. Are we going above 10 points for Scotland?
I'd say 15 to 18 from my side.
Because it's away, I'm going to say just under 10 points, so single figures, and I'm making it 9 points.
Okay. But I just wanted to add one thing about Italy, and that's if they really want to attack one game. Obviously, France was the game to attack. I mean, look how close it was. But if they want a second shot at getting a victory in the Six Nations, obviously we've just complimented Wales, but I think when Italy take on Wales, I think that's a massive game Italy can attack, because if Italy are firing at their best, they can beat Wales. And that's an opportunity for them to go and not take the wooden spoon. So big game, that one as well.
Okay, so let's move on to, I would say the biggest game probably of the weekend, and that's England versus Ireland. Obviously, it's a rivalry, it's a derby as well, and anything can happen in a derby. Most likely, or well, usually you could say form goes out of the window. Form does not go out of the window on this one for me. I don't think England's got it right in their defensive work. I don't think they've got it right in their attacking work. When you look at Ireland, who's been brilliant and sensational at both of them, because they really got tested 2 weekends ago against Wales. I know Wales isn't the best attack, but they really had to defend at certain points, and they really impressed me with their defensive line speed, the way that they held Wales out. Are we thinking an Ireland smashing victory, or do you think Twickenham comes alive and kind of keeps England in the game for parts of the game?
Revan?
So I think if Alex Mitchell starts, I can see England playing a lot more attractive rugby style than what we saw against Scotland, purely because I think Danny Kerr is no longer an international nine. He had his days and now he's not. I truly believe Alex Mitchell is the guy for England to really take them forward. Obviously, Marcus Smith back in the training camp as well. We know if he's on his game and not crumbling under pressure, we know what he can do. And that's no disrespect. I mean, we've seen Libok in the beginning as well. I mean, he also crumbled a bit under pressure at times. But obviously, I still think Ireland's going to win this one. I don't think they'll smash it, but I think they'll win it comfortably. And it's just because, like I said, they are head and shoulders above everyone else. The system is better. The players know the system. It's the same players week in, week out. It's a team that just knows each other. It's a brotherhood. And ultimately, like I've said this 1,000 times, they are just above everyone in the Six Nations.
Yeah, for me, this has been a personal game literally my whole life. I mean, my mom was born in England. My dad was born in Ireland. I'm born in South Africa. I even wearing an England jersey, not because I'm pro England or anti Ireland. It's just it's a historical game in my family. It's the game we watch have been watching before my parents passed. Like as a family, it's what we watched. So I'm Switzerland. I'm neutral. I'm not calling this game. I think that Ireland will win it easily, but I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm just going on my thought process.
So Brett, if you were in the shoes of Borthwick, do you say, listen, let's go balls to the wall and make some changes with the likes of Waboso coming in on the wing, or do you think he probably sticks with the guns that he trusts, that hasn't been doing the job lately? Because I'm thinking, listen, you have nothing to lose, right? You already lost the previous game. This one is probably the one that you can really say, listen, we're gonna throw everything at Ireland. If we lose by 50, we lose by 50, but we're gonna go out there and show some fighting spirit by throwing in some new guys that are hungry, that really want to do something. Because a lot of the critics that he's been getting lately is people say he's rotating too much, but I feel he's rotating in the wrong positions. Like
Yeah.
you can't stick with Elliot Daly on the wing and stuff when you play that defensive line. It's not going to work. You have to get people that really want to rush up, big, strong, fast guys. Exclamation on fast.
The problem with that is that he's been rotating too much. But I think that he needs to stick with a basic team, a set team, even if he goes back to back from the team that he's already had in the previous games. Then because of continuity and because you're playing at Twickenham. So if you can have continuity, the crowd behind you, belief that you can win and more possession than the opposition, then things are different. That's what we love about rugby. The ball's not round. It doesn't bounce the same way every single time. So I think if he can create some continuity, which he should have been doing since he started, because remember back in the day, Jake White, that he didn't like trying new things, and he took pretty much the same team. 4 years later, won the World Cup. So I think Borthwick needs to get that not the system, the continuity and the what's the word? Like a brotherhood, more if you will, like the Irish side. They were units.
Yeah, and with regards to if we remember Russie's first game in charge, and it was against England at Ellis Park or Emirates Elan Park, whatever you want to call it nowadays. We remember that it was a new defense structure, and we literally leaked like 20 points in the first 15 minutes. It was really looking bad. But we had an attack option to back it up, whereas England, I feel they don't have an attacking option to back up their weak defense. So they can't go try for try type battle. So honestly, the way I would approach this game for England is look at the way you approached the Springbok game in that semi-final and do exactly the same. Frustrate the Irish, bomb it up in the air, frustrate them, don't give them ball, get in their face. I mean, Bongi called it plastic energy, but you know what? It annoys me, so it's working. It annoys the fans, and it works. So get in the faces when you have the small victories, own it. Who cares? I mean, obviously we love Bongi, but who cares what Bongi says? Own your style of whatever you do, and just go out there and give it your all. I mean, I'd love for England to take this one, but like I said, it depends on how they approach it.
Yeah, well, they could go with the pride and trusted, right? Or tried and trusted, sorry. And the thing is, I don't think it would be the worst thing because they can match up Ireland in terms of physicality, if they go or like for like, if you think about Alex Mitchell versus Gibson Park, that is an interesting battle. You think about Crowley and George Ford, and then you go, and then I would go into that 12 and 13. I'd throw in Manu Tuilagi again to match up with Bundiaki. I know he hasn't been doing the job lately, but that's big pieces of meat going against each other. Henry Slade going up against Henshaw, obviously, and then Weboso on the wing with Freeman to match up Nash and James Lowe. That is what I would go for, because I think that the real issue in the English backline at the moment is they don't have enough ball carriers. I can't think of many guys that have been taking that ball up and crashing that ball into some players. Think about the game against Wales. How many times did you see Henry Slade carrying? How many times did you see Ollie Lawrence carrying? How many times did you see Elliot Daly and those guys take contact? No one took the ball up and really decided to run the ball. That is kind of what they're missing. Make Ireland defend and then bomb something in the air for Freddie Stewart or whatever to get underneath. That's kind of the game plan that I see them having to take, and that's the big issue that England has been having. It's been such predictable attack, like they've almost tried to be too structured with it. Just run at them for once. That's how I think that they have to do it.
The only thing I'd change on your backline there is I'd put Manu Tuilagi at 13. I don't like two big bashing 12s playing against each other. It almost eliminates each other out of the game. If you have a Bundiaki running at a 12 that maybe just has solid defense, and the 12 can put a Manu Tuilagi away, it's much harder to stop a Tuilagi at pace than it is to stop a Bundiaki at pace, because Bundiaki likes the physical contact. Manu Tuilagi was like that way back in the day, but now he's improved his game in the sense that he tries to avoid contact a bit and tries to play the space and play the people behind him. That's the only change I'd make.
So would you go Manu Tuilagi on the outside and then Ollie Lawrence on the inside?
Correct.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so Brett's not predicting it. I'm going Ireland by 16 points. I think they'll put England away at Twickenham. I think it'll be a close game, and then once again, almost like the Stormers versus the Bulls, where the Bulls kind of get that try like England will have some hope, and then they'll probably score one or two tries at the end to really secure it, right? To smash the England hopes, just like Stormers' hopes were smashed. Brevin, what's your official prediction on this one?
I'm going to go Ireland by 12. I think, like you said, it will be close, and I think that the Irish will just have a bit too much on attack. I mean, the English, for example, if the Irish attack is firing and their system is really blooming on the day, England's defense has a long day coming for them, because it's a very good system. Let's be honest, it works a lot. I think South Africa, the Springboks do very well even though we lost in the World Cup, we did extremely well to limit them to 13 points. I mean,
exactly, yeah.
So go for it.
I've got a prediction. I'm predicting that because people have made it to 18 minutes, they're gonna hit like and subscribe right now, and we're gonna gain 100 subscribers just on this video because we ask so nicely. And the floor is yours.
And thank you.
Brevin, I fully agree, but the only reason that I'm saying it is not a blowout victory is I've got some hope that Borthwick gets the squad right. If he goes with his slow-paced guys that gets the rush defense wrong, it's going to be a long night, and it might be even worse than what France did to them last season. That's just my thought process. If they get the wrong squad and we see the same shit with Furbank on the fullback who can't tackle for shit, that's going to be 50 points, baby. Anyway, let's move on to the final game. We've got Wales versus France, and I would not be surprised to hear one of you thinking of an upset victory. It's played at the Principality. Just remember that.
It's almost as if I felt like you were talking to me when you said somebody's going to call an upset victory, because I'm a sucker for an upset victory. And I think, so I was actually talking to someone today about it, I think there's going to be another draw.
You said no more surprises, and yet you come and predict a draw 10 minutes later.
Yes,
Look, I
because
don't.
you made me change my mind, but I was gonna say France by 1 or 2, but I'm now changing that to a draw.
I'm going Wales by 1.
You see,
Ooh.
the thing is, I don't think it's crazy to say Wales will win this game. I really don't think it's crazy. The way the French have been playing, and the way I just see a bunch of guys with a terrible attitude, if that carries on, Wales are a bunch of guys who are like, listen, guys, we're building something here. Let's keep it up. And if France aren't careful, I can honestly see Wales winning this one. Also very close, maybe 2 to 3 points. But then again, if the French get it right and their players can fire finally in the Six Nations, then I can
We've
see a
been saying
French
that every
win.
week, Brett.
Yeah,
Us,
exactly. I,
Brian.
I I agree, but let's just say it again. If they do get it right, I can see them winning this one by double digits. But
I
it
did
all
read an
depends.
I did read an interesting article today that said that somebody might be without a job if said team doesn't beat Wales.
I told you guys this.
But like before the end of the Six Nations. That's what the article said.
Wow.
And
Like,
Ronan O'Gara is sitting there like this. Sign me up.
Oh
Okay,
my.
so Brett, is your official prediction going to be a draw?
a draw.
High scoring, low scoring. Give us that at least.
Like 15 all.
You don't really get high scoring draws now that I think about it, right? It's always low scoring draws. Okay, so Brevan, you are going officially.
Wales by 3.
Okay, and I'm going Wales by 1. No one's predicted France. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
they've given us no right to back them. I mean, let's be
No.
honest. Have they
Yeah.
given us a right to back them at all? I mean, let's be real.
Okay, so let's round it all off. Italy versus Scotland. I went, what was it? I think I went Scotland by 16. Brett, you went Scotland by
9.
No, 9. Yes, you're right. 9.
9. And
Uh,
Brevan, you went?
15 to 18 in that gap. There.
Okay. Ireland versus England. I went Ireland by 20. Brett has no opinion on it, but he thinks Ireland's going to win. That's just his thought process, but it's not a prediction. And then Brevan goes,
By
was it
Ireland by 12.
15, right? 12.
No, by 12, yeah.
Okay, and then Wales by 1. Draw Wales by 3. Wow. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We appreciate you. You know this. Like and subscribe if you do enjoy us. And we will see you next time. Sayonara.
Goodbye.